Well, hey there, this is Jerry, and I'm getting started on another episode of What's Broke today. And I'll start out with thanks to all those people that have subscribed to my channel. That I do appreciate all you watching. That where I'm going to get started at is I'm back on the Kawasaki Lakota. That he brought me some exhaust, and I did a little test fit before I started the camera. So where it bolts to the engine at the front, it bolts, but I'd call it far from correct, but it is what it is. That's what he got. That's what we're going to try and use. Now, when I put that on, I had to get, this piece was on here, but it was sticking way up like that. So I sprayed a bunch of rust penetrant and finally got it off there. The next thing I got to remove is I've got to get this old muffler off, because see, this one, somebody had actually cut the pipe, because this should have extended way on up here, and if it did, that might actually have connected to that. 4 inches, because this back here is an Allen, and I actually got the right one the first time. Now I'm going to save this 12 millimeter bolt, because hopefully when I put all this other exhaust together, it's actually going to line up with one of these bolt holes to bolt the actual muffler up. All right, we can get that dude out of the way. And of course, now that will allow me to take this and put it on, and I'm going to loosen this up just a little so I can rotate it. And I might even end up getting the torch out, heating this a little, and bending it. Because I think that really should be something originally down kind of in that area. So, yeah, because right there, that doesn't line up. But I might be able to bend that a little. Because, see, we got to get out around the reservoir there. And where did I put the, oh, there it is. And the exhaust he brought me is from a company called SuperTrap. And if my memory serves me correctly, we used to get these on jet skis, and you basically, I mean, this the muffler, you could change, you could, on a, say on our old jet ski, we could change out the disc in here, the length of them, and affect the power band of our 2-cycle motor. But yeah, I mean, this really doesn't fit worth a damn. Because, yeah, I don't know, I may have to set the fenders up there. Because, if I move that up there where it looks like it ought to go, and even if I get that up there, the plastic isn't going to go on there. Yeah, because see, that just doesn't work. Yeah, because I got to get this down here probably more something like that. But then it's right on this hose for the ideal thing would be is we could push that in and go through here, but then it gets on the air box and on the shock. So regardless, this has to be down here lower. And we might end up with just something like that. And then I may just have to build a bracket to attach that part on. Yeah, because none of that really fits right. Because only other option would be is if I could relocate this someplace. But I don't know, I got enough bit work to relocate, try and move it inside the frame. But I could always take and make a bracket to bolt on here. To attach this to. Well, I don't know. So I'm going to put some thought into this, and then when I get it figured out, I'll come back. All right, back at the four-wheeler. And I think what I come up with was, you know, this actually probably needed to come forward to get around the brake thing. So what I think I'm going to do is come up here to this exhaust and probably cut off, well, we'll say roughly 4 inches of this front pipe, and then slide this up on there, which then will end up with this somewhere kind of like that, which will keep it under the fenders. One thing I may run into is exhaust blowing out here, blowing up, hitting the fenders in the back. But I don't think it'll be that big a deal because fenders already broke. So nothing else, we can cut it out a little. And then once I get this up on there, then I'll cut me a piece of angle iron that can bolt on here and come down and out. And then I'll either weld an ear on or just drill it, depending on how the bolt lines up. And then probably initially, I'm probably going to bolt this solid, but then I got to hunt around and see if I got anything around here so I can actually make this more like a rubber isolator so it's not solid. But I'll have to figure that out once I get to that point. But yeah, first thing, I was going to say, it's going to come up here, and because yeah, when I held this up here, trying to keep looking at the spot I want to cut. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get it all with this, but all right, something like that. I'll probably have to file that some, but let's see, then I can get that on there. Let me pull that out just a little more. Let's see, that'll get us out around that. And then I think what I'll end up doing is actually wrapping this with some heat tape, or actually it's kind of like a fibery wrap, like it's header wrap is what it is. We'll end up wrapping that, and then I need a piece of angle iron about, let's say, 9 inches long. And probably, if I had a piece of 2-inch angle iron, that'd be better. But I'll see what I got. And nothing else, I'll just weld a extension on for that. So let me go find some angle iron. All right, well, I got my piece of angle iron cut. I can lay it up here. And right about there. I need to drill 2 holes, so I'm going to mark the center of that hole and the center of that one. I think I'll have to go out there and measure this, but I think we'll come down about 3/8 of an inch and make 2 holes. And then we'll get this bolted up there, and then we can work on getting because I mean that is I actually might be able to do that without having to weld an extension onto it. Got my angle iron drilled. See how good I did on getting my holes in the right spot. Well, not exactly perfect, but pretty close. That one of the holes was off just a hair. So what I'll probably do is just go out there and just drill it the next size bigger. I may actually do both of them. But yeah, we get that up there like that. And then I can take it. Scratch it with the sheetrock screw or gold decking screw, whatever you want to call it, and then mark it with the pencil. And then I think I'll do about the same thing. Go in about 3/8 of an inch and drill a hole, and I'll go ahead and make this one a little bigger, and we'll get back here. Okay, so I got all my holes drilled. So let's do our test fit up here, because I also have to go get Allen wrenches to tighten this one screw, or else get something different. But yeah, that should work good. And that bolted up there. I should have made that hole out just a little farther, but basically now I need from this bracket probably down to about here wrapped. So let me go get everything ready, and we'll wrap some heat protection stuff on that. To start out with, since I don't even have the clamp that's supposed to go to clamp, around here to hold them together. So I was going to start out with and drill holes. Because can't weld these together because this is aluminum, another half steel. And these are just real sharp pointed sheet metal screws, like a HVAC guy would use for putting ductwork together. Oh, twisted that one off. But I got it down in there, so we'll come around here and do the... I think I'll drill one hole, or one size larger that hole. See if I can avoid breaking the head of the screw off. that and keep that together. And then we got our banding. Just unroll some and kind of clear down to there, and basically I'm going to start with that out of sight, and we'll just come around and overlap it, and then just start working our way down, tightening her up. Yeah, and I think that's going to be long enough. I think I'm going to wrap it the other way, because the way at which that tapers there, I think it'll work better if I wrap the other direction, from the small to the large. And how much I need, I'll find my pencil mark right here. I'm going to start on the back side and wrap that around, try and keep it as tight as I can, and then just work my way and overlapping about 50% of the width of this wrap. So I get up here where I want, and if I get there to the end, I got these metal zip ties I can put around there, and this time I'm gonna have to double them up because one isn't long enough. But these are stainless steel. I messed up when I stuck these together, and the little anchor that locks it has to be on the outside on both of these. But then we can come and wrap this around. Get my thumb on that and get my zip tie started. Pull some of that through. Okay, and then make sure the wrap is good and tight. We can just slowly tighten this up and use it to hold that. But then when I get that roughly where I want it, I was going to basically grab this with my wire cutters and just kind of use it as a tool to hold and pry and tighten that up. Because once you got that pulled tight, it's not going nowhere. And then we come down here and cut off the excess. Okay, and I think I'll do that a second time. Make a second band around there. It'd just be so nice if I could make just one of these work, but they just need to be about an inch longer. I mean, it misses by probably half an inch. So I'm gonna get the one both the right direction and push that through there. And then that under there. And around. All right. Let me get some. And then I also got this, which goes up here. So let's go get this bolted on. And for now, I'm just going to bolt this up here as best I can. I'm going to clamp on there. So like that. Put that down through there. All right. And then we can take this and see, that'll help protect that from the heat. And while I'm here, I have to run up and grab the brake fluid. Add some more brake fluid to this because it's empty. Not sure why it's empty, so I may fill it up, may have a mess all over the floor, but at least I'll be able to tell him, hey, it needs this to fix the brake. And then figured out which brake fluid this thing takes. Most of them, it just says right here on the cap, which this one says, use only .3 brake fluid from a sealed container. And mainly that is, you read, most of those caps will say what you're supposed to use, because we don't want to intermingle the .3, .4, .5 brake fluids with each other. And for now, I'm just going to put the cap back on. That probably going to need to get a wrench and loosen the bleeder screw on the caliper and let some air out. I need to go get some gas to put in it. And I also need for the battery to get here. So I think we're going to quit for today because the battery should be here Monday. And then we'll get back after it on Monday. Well, my battery came in. I dug around and I found these rubber things that are for a Sea-Doo exhaust. I think, yeah, like a 951 GTX, I believe is what they're for. So I'm going to pull this off. I think what I'll do is put it, the rubber thing, maybe, well, yeah, it probably does need to go on the bottom. And I can take my washers on top. Let's see if that will go all the way through. This is probably not the most ideal way of fixing it, but when you got something that you're craftily putting together, you do the best you can. Okay. And that still makes it solid, but at least having that little bit of rubber there, if it needs to move, hopefully it'll let it move a little bit. Because I brought two of those things because I wasn't sure how that would, if one was going to be enough, or and it turns out two was too many because the thickness of that metal, you know. So I'll save one of these. I might need it for something else later. Alright, well, I put my battery in and then I turned the key on, and that old fuse holder, which I should have changed it in the last video, but instead all I did was just put an end on it. We're going to change it out, and all I've got is an inline, takes a blade fuse. So, and I stuck a 15 amp fuse in it, but I don't even know what size fuses in this are supposed to be in this. Clip some of that off. I have to wait a while before I shrink wrap these because I put gas in it and it's been sitting the biggest part of the summer, and probably have to pull the carburetor off and clean it again because it was overflowing with gas. So I got gas all over the floor, and it's like but I've probably been waiting, I don't know, 3 months for exhaust. There's our fuse holder, and then that. Okay, so now I turn the key on, we got power. So, all right, well, I set my fenders up on there again just to make sure before I do any cutting. I'm gonna start out with, I'm just gonna cut up here and come over to this, and just take out 2 of these bars, and then just kind of cut up through and open that up. Set it back on, but I think I'm going to have to come maybe clear up here higher. All right, I'm going to take it over there and do a test spit. Okay, and that is going to work. I got it down on its mount, so glad I didn't go ahead and cut higher. And then there you can see where got the rest of the exhaust kind of put up there. And yeah, I think I'm still going to do some carburetor work because this thing sat long enough. It's like the carburetor's still gummed up a little, but so far so good that I got to put the front fenders on next. So, but I figure you can figure that out. Okay, we're back at our Kawasaki Lakota with my carburetor, and first thing I got to do is get the choke put back up in there. Not as easy as it looks like it ought to be. Everything the right direction and getting it where it turns. As the threads on that nut that holds it in aren't real good. So, and that's just plastic, so we're not going to try and over tighten. But once we get that, we can kind of fish it up in there, and I think I'll put on the air cleaner boot first, or at least attempt to. Then I can push it back and get it up on the engine. Oh, there we go. Everything lined up good, and then I can tighten my clamps. Put it there. Then I can slide my clamp down and put my fuel line on. And now we got to go to the other side. On this side, I had to hook up the throttle cable. And it's just got the little barrel end. And then just pull it up around, and it's got a slot up there in the top of the carburetor that the cable slides in. And just make sure you got a little bit of free play in the throttle cable, and then come up here. And it's a lot easier with the fenders off. But tighten that up and then verify we still got our slack. And then on these, like that Bayou, everything's wide open, but on this it actually has a little cover we put up over that. Okay. Now we got our screw in the washer that goes in up here. I think all I got left now is to turn the gas on and start it up and see how it runs. Okay, well, I got carburetor back on. Fuel's been on for probably a half hour, no drips. Turn the key on, choke. It doesn't take long for a poor running engine to foul out a spark plug. So I had another new one because that's really nasty. Okay. I'm going to take off and go for a drive. Well, I finally got this Kawasaki Lakota done, running good. That just a rundown on where we're at with this. Started out with it had no compression. Replaced the exhaust valve. Got the cam back in time. Made sure I had the cam gear torqued down and on the camshaft good. I've adjusted valves. I did have it running after I got the head all put back on, but I didn't have exhaust. Well, he brought me some aftermarket exhaust that had a SuperTrap muffler on it. I finally got that up on there, which I think is earlier in the video. Was still having trouble, so I ordered a Moose Racing carburetor kit because that cheap, thing I ordered off of Amazon. I don't know why I waste my time ordering them because they're terrible. But I did get that, and I got it where it would idle. But then I didn't. When I went to accelerate, it wouldn't go, and I did not look at the diaphragm on this plunger very well because when I look at it real close, and I hold it up to the light, and I look out, and I just start stretching it as I work my way around. I go most of the way around, and then it's got a hole in it. I should have caught that a long time ago. So what I did was on the uncle of the kid that owns this four-wheeler, his uncle has a Bayou 300, a 1996 that had a originally a Chinese one of those Amazon cheap carburetors on it. They finally found me the original carburetor. I rebuilt it, got it started, it running great. Well, I took this assembly out of that Amazon carburetor, put it in this carburetor. It actually fit really well, surprisingly. Put it in there, and now this thing, it gets up scoots. The only thing it's probably going to need is some more wrap on the exhaust so you don't burn your leg. And he didn't bring me air cleaner box or this front plastic, so without the front plastic, I can't mount the ignition switch, can't mount the headlight. I figure those are things he can figure out because I looked for this piece online, like on eBay. I did not find one. I could not find a air box, so we may end up having to measure the carburetor and put a just one of those air pods on it and get rid of all the factory stuff. because if you start ordering the factory air box from Kawasaki, which it looks like you can still get it, I'm gonna have $300 or $400 in plastic. So I think that's foolish, But the front parts there, the back parts, I just need the part that the air filter goes in. But it does run good. It's a little slick in the grass out there. I was able to slide the back end around. Yeah, starts up and sounds good here. I can't beat that. So, but yeah, I'd say if in the future, if you come across one of these that doesn't, it idles good, but you can't accelerate, pull the boot off, go into the carburetor, start it up, and watch this. And as soon as you hit the throttle, this thing should start sucking up. And like I say, this one just stayed all the way down. And if it gets a hole in it, it will not lift, and you will have no. You probably don't even get a quarter to a third of throttle before it starts on its face. So, but I'm glad it's done. That I do appreciate you watching. That this has been a long, drawn-out video because I've probably been messing with this thing for over 6 months, off and on. That's not like I work on it every day. I worked on it when I had spare time. And I finally decided today I needed to get it done. So I tracked down the last problem, and we're good to go. But hey, appreciate you watching. Always like those thumbs up for the likes. Appreciate all those comments. Hey, and appreciate all those people that are subscribing to my channel and supporting me. This wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you very much. And hey, if you're not a subscriber, better join on in because no telling what else you'll see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.